To the Missouri Valley Conference Men's Basketball Coaches Teleconference. All lines have been placed on mute to prevent any background noise. If you would like to ask a question during the conference, please press star then the number 1 on your telephone keypad. To withdraw your question, press the pound key. I will now turn the call over to Mike Kern. Please go ahead.
Thanks, Stephanie. Let's go ahead and get started. We do have Coach Greg Lansing of Indiana State with us. The Sycamores have won 3 in a row, sitting at 3-1 in conference play, and this week opening up with Northern Iowa at home on Wednesday, and then to Wichita State on Sunday. Wednesday's game will be shown on ESPN3. Morning, Coach.
Morning. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Hanging in there. It's a little chilly, but it's part of it.
Yeah, it is cold here too. Let's talk about Northern Iowa coming to town, and then we'll open it up for some questions for you. Preview Wednesday's game for us, if you could.
Oh, I mean, there's no better prepared team and well-coached team than Northern Iowa, and that's happened about every year with Jake and his staff. Just a ton of respect for them and good guys, and love competing against them. And we know they'll be well prepared, and we're going to do our part in these next couple of days here, like we did yesterday, getting prepared for them. Because you can't make a lot of mistakes to have a chance to win. And it's a home game. It's a huge game for us. I know it's big for them, too. And expect nothing but a really, really well-prepared team and a hard-playing team and a tough team coming in here Wednesday night.
Thanks, Greg. Let's open it up now for some questions for you. Questions from the media for Coach Greg Lansing.
Please press star then the number 1 on your telephone keypad to ask your question. Again, that's star then the number 1 on your telephone keypad. Our first question comes from Paul Solentrop with the Wichita Eagle.
Greg, you won 6 of 7. What's gotten this team rolling?
Hey, Paul. Well, honestly, I probably had higher expectations to start the year than maybe what we should have. You know, you look at having Devontae and Christian back, especially, and a guy like Brenton Scott, but we are playing a lot of guys that didn't play much for us last year, and the chemistry of just playing together, and then the new guys just figuring out the level that you have to prepare with on a day in day out basis to be able to do it in games. Practices were good. It's a hard working group, but we've made way too many mistakes. We're cutting those back a little bit. We still do, but the guys are really playing hard and buying in at both ends of the floor what we're trying to do, and that's without a doubt a credit to how Christian and Devontae have led this team. And I think we're going to get a lot better, and I know we're going to need to continue to win.
Looks like you've done a really nice job the last 3 games defending the other team's top scorers. Who's getting most of that, the defensive effort on guys like a Kuhn Purcell or Milton Doyle?
Well, I know you guys got 2 of the best defenders in the league right there too. But I've always said that Devontae and Christian are as good a defenders as there are in the league. They just do. They take it personal. They prepare well. They watch a lot of film. No tendencies, and they follow our scheme of what we're trying to do. And we've added Everett Clemens in there, who's a really good defender as well that is coming around. So those guys take pride in it. I think they're very good off the ball. They're very good on the ball, and they're high IQ guys.
Hey, when J.D. Collins is at a game, do you warn your guys that, maybe things are going to be called a little more tighter?
No, I don't. But you know that. I mean, him and Eddie were both here, and that's not easy for the officials. I mean, Brandon Murphy, our starting center, got called in back-to-back possessions and on fouls, and the officials have a tough job. I mean, I get it, and I may be a little more animated than what I am on the other night, but they're good guys that work hard. They don't have agendas. They're trying to follow directives, and I think they're doing a good job. And talking to JD before the game, they got the word out of what the directives were and what we were looking for, and I just think the coaches in this league have done a great job of preparing their teams for how it's going to be called.
And the last thing, looks like you've tried Brenton coming off the bench and as a starter. Have you figured out what the best fit is for him?
Well, I know he's chomping at the bit if he doesn't start, but it's, with him and Everett, they're both starters as far as I'm concerned, and Brent has probably played better starting the games than maybe what he has as start, and Ev doesn't. Neither one of them really mind the role, but they're both very, very valuable. I mean, Breton he just plays. I mean, he goes. He's on the verge out of control all the time. He can really score it. We were a little upset with him in the first half, how he was playing offensively, and then you get on him, and that doesn't faze him. He comes right back in there and really provides a huge spark. So whether these guys he's a starter whether he's coming off the bench or not.
Thank you.
Thanks, Paul.
Our next question comes from Jim Sullivan with the WARDLE Curler.
Morning.
Hey, Jim.
In terms of style and approach, how is Devontae different from a guy like Anthony Bean, who you and I saw here about a week or so ago?
Oh, boy, just watching the tapes I've seen we haven't played Southern yet, but Anthony Bean he can create anything, get any shot, and he makes tough shots. Devontae is, I guess I wouldn't be able to describe someone else's player because I just see him when we go against him. But I would not trade Devontae Brown for another player anywhere, because starting with how he works on his game on a day in and day out basis, what he does in the off season, what he does off the floor for us as a student athlete here, and then he plays every possession of every practice and every game, and he plays both ends of the floor, and he's just a tough kid. He can score when he needs to score. He's worked awfully hard, and you can see his shooting percentages. People used to not think he could shoot and not guard him because he was such a good driver, but you can't do that to him because he can make threes, and he does make threes, and he gets fouled, and he gets to the free throw line, and he's always had the task at the other end of guarding one of the opposing team's best players. So he's just a really good player that I think most coaches in this league would love to have a guy like him. But Anthony Bean's outstanding. There's no question.
Getting a kind of piggybacking on a question Paul just asked you, of the rule changes, you've had to have gone through a number of games now. What's had the most impact? Which change or interpretation, if you will, has impacted the game as a whole the most? Do you think?
Boy, that's a good question. I'd probably just think the chucking somebody when they're driving or putting two hands on them. It just may be a little quicker on the whistle. Again, I think Eddie and JD and those guys, they got the directives to the coaches, and us coaches talk, and we knew that the officials were going to be graded by what they were calling. So I think everybody, just by watching other games, has really worked on it with their team. And I know I wear a whistle now in practice. I never used to, just so we can call fouls. But it's a tough thing to do, but I think they're doing a good job. I think, and all the teams are doing a good job of trying to comply with those.
Okay, Coach, thank you.
Thank you.
Greg, that was your last question. Thanks for your time this morning. Good luck against Northern Iowa.
Okay, thanks, Mike.
All right, thanks, Greg. And we'll segue to Indiana State's opponent. We do have Coach Ben Jacobson of Northern Iowa with us. Panthers open the week at Indiana State, back at home Saturday against Loyola. Morning, Jake.
Mike, you hear me all right?
Yep. Good morning. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good.
Good. If you could preview your first game of the week, Indiana State, and then we'll open it up for some questions for you.
Yeah, they're, as Lance just talked about, they're playing good basketball, and it appears it just appears that they've found some things that have been working for them, and they've gotten better at some of the things that weren't getting done for them early in the year. But watching them here in their conference games, in their last couple non-conference games, you can just see them becoming a team. And I know that, talking to Lance this summer, that he really liked this group, and he felt like he was going to have a good team this year, and he does. It's a really good group.
Thanks, Coach. Let's get to the questions now for you. Questions for Coach Ben Jacobson.
Please press stars and the number 1 to ask your question. Again, that's stars and the number 1 to ask your question. Again, to ask your question, press stars and the number 1. Our first question is from Harry Schroeder with the Valley Hoops Insider.
Ben, you guys are taking on the Sycamores this week, and those two seniors, Brown and Smith, compare and contrast the way they play and just, how good they've been for 4 years against you guys.
Yeah, they're I think the thing that has made both of those guys so good, Harry, is that they do it at both ends of the floor. I think Devontae has really improved as an offensive player. He's improved his ball handling. He's really improved as a jump shooter. But he has always been a competitive player. He's always been a very good defensive player, and he's always had the ability to drive the basketball. And now by adding a couple things to his offensive game, he's become one of the, and has been one of the better guards in the league. And with Smith, he's just a different kind of matchup. He can play that small forward. This year I don't know that he's playing as much at that power forward position, but as he's gone through his career, he's played both positions. And at the small forward, that's a big guard. That's a lot to deal with in terms of rebounding the basketball and keeping him from getting too many things around the basket. And then if he does slide up and play some at that power forward spot, now you've got a guy who's a perimeter player and can make threes and drive it against usually a guy who's a little bit bigger. And both those guys have been really good for our league, really good competitors, and guys that play the way that you like to see the game played.
Thanks a lot, Ben. Good luck.
Yep, thanks.
Jake, that was the only question in the queue for you this morning. Thank you for your time, and good luck this week.
Okay, thanks, Mike.
All right, see you. We're joined now by Drake coach Ray Giacoletti. The Bulldogs at Evansville tomorrow night and back at home to play Southern Illinois on Sunday. Morning, Coach.
Good morning. How are you?
Good, good. How are you?
All good, thank you.
Good. Quick turnaround, a Saturday game against Northern Iowa, and then back on the road to play Evansville. What can you tell us about the Aces? We all know they're two big guys that are making big contributions nationally in terms of scoring and rebounding. But talk about the rest of their team and your preparations for the Aces.
Yeah, the biggest thing when you watch tape, at least from this past year to now, from what we've seen, is just the ability to pass the basketball at 4 different spots really makes them that much more dangerous. Obviously, the kid is a double-double guy, and Valentine can really score it. But you look to their assist-to-turnover ratio, it's like 120 more assists and turnovers as a team. That's really impressive. I think 5 guys got 50 or more assists. And so the thing that at least jumps out to me anyway is the ability of a number of people that can really pass the basketball. And when you're running their motion offense, when you have that many people that can make quick, easy decisions, it's difficult to defend.
Thanks, Ray. Let's get now to the questions for you from the media. Questions for Coach Ray Giacoletti.
Our first question comes from Andrew Lowe with the Des Moines Register.
Hey, Coach.
Hi, Andrew.
Hi. I wanted to check with you. Any latest, or is there any chance or timetable for CJ to come back this season? And what's that kind of do for your lineup, or who might be in the starting lineup against Evansville?
Yeah, he just got back from the doctors this morning, and it's a spiral fracture, and so that he's having surgery on Thursday. And, it's probably 8 to 10 weeks. So, it's probably going to not make it back, I would assume. It's just, we're not real deep in the perimeter spots anyway. We got, a number of 5 men, but the perimeter spots is a little light. But I think it's just going to opportunity, obviously, for Ori and then Billy Wampler, our freshman. So, not what we need it right now, having CJ go down. I think he was just starting to play his best basketball. He had his best game of the year against Indiana State last week. And so it's difficult for us, and he's one of our better defenders. So, but it's an opportunity, again, for somebody else to be able to step up and be able to help us.
Talk about what has Ori done? He started against Iowa and had some moments, and Billy has also contributed. The thing you notice is when they get in the game, they make things happen. Has either of them, I don't know if surprised is the right word, but encouraged you by what they've done when they have gotten those chances in games?
Yeah, I think both of them have had their moments. I think Billy's the guy that with probably more experience and more opportunities. I think he can really has a good feel for the game. He can obviously shoot the basketball. Defensively is the piece that he needs to continue to get better at, work at. But I think with added opportunity, you'll watch him continue to get better.
Well, thanks, Coach.
Yeah, thank you.
Your next question comes from Daniel Alar with the Evansville Courier.
Hey, Coach, I wanted to ask you about Abrahamson. I know he's been getting some Newcomer of the Week awards. Looks like he's putting up pretty good numbers. Can you just describe, the type of player he is and what he's been bringing for you guys?
Yeah, he's a stretch four that can get on a roll, really shoot the basketball. There's some times when we would like him to be, I think, more connected with our five-man, and we're working with that to try to those two have a better connection with making high-low passes and some of those things. So that's something that needs to improve upon. But he really spaces the floor for us, and he's a guy, again, when he gets on a roll, knocking shots down, can be very dangerous.
What's the next step in your improvement? The main thing that you'd like to see your team get better at to get some more wins? Because just looking at some of the statistics, looks like you have some pretty good individual pieces. But what's the next step in your improvement?
Yeah, I think that's a really good question. I think right now, we played people really close early, and we've had a couple tough nights now here as of late, just with scoring margin. Biggest thing is just confidence and continue to believe in what you're doing. And I think you could point to a lot of different things. On Saturday at Northern Iowa was inability to score the basketball. Just was one of our lowest outputs of the year, and just continue to share the ball, make each other better. We're going to try to do some things to maybe make that a little bit easier for ourselves, because we've got some people who can space the floor. We've just got to be able to get the ball moving a little bit more and just make some nice, easy plays.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Your next question comes from Todd Hefferman with the Southern Newspaper.
Hey, Coach, what did Reed Timmer really work on the most in the off season?
His body is probably the biggest thing. He's kind of moved from, not kind of, but he has moved from the 1 to the 2. I think he's really shooting it really well. The thing right now, he needs, we need to have more of kind of a 2-point guard mentality of making others better. He's somebody who can really drive the basketball and get to the hole for his size and get himself to the free throw line. So I think those things he's really worked hard at. Right now, like I said, we'd like to play with 2 point guards on the floor that try to make others better. And so we're trying some things here the last couple of days to try to make that be a little bit easier for our guys.
Do you think he's a natural point guard or a natural shooting guard? Or do you think he's a pretty good combination of both?
Kind of a combination. Yeah, kind of a combo. Probably feels more comfortable at the 2, but still needs to kind of have that mentality of reading a situation and just making a quick, easy play. But probably more comfortable at the 2.
Thanks.
Yep.
Ray, that was your final question. Good luck this week. Appreciate your time this morning.
Thank you.
Thanks. We do have Coach Paul Lusk of Missouri State on the line with us. Bears coming off of back-to-back wins last week. Starting the week on Wednesday at home against Wichita State. Later in the week, they're at Bradley on Saturday. Morning, Paul.
Morning, Mike.
And congratulations on your 2 victories last week, both games, close games, and Daquan Miller factoring in both of the last second wins. Talk about his week, and then we'll open it up for some questions for you.
Thank you. We were able to find a way to win the game, and obviously he made some big plays, and so happy for the guys.
Thanks, Paul. Let's get now to the questions for you. Questions for Coach Paul Lusk.
Please press star and the number 1. Again, that's star and the number 1 to ask your question. Our first question is from Dave Reynolds with the Peoria Journal.
Hey, Paul.
Hi, Dave.
What are some of the things the last couple of games that your team has done better?
Well, we've taken care of the ball for the most part better. When we got down against Northern Iowa, we were able to have a guy make a play. Krecklow hit 2 threes. That got us back in it. Just find a way, Dave. I mean, we're really limited right now with what we can do with our numbers. We have another guy. We get hurt in warm-ups, Dave. We have guys go down in warm-ups, and that affected us. But just kind of trying to find a way. And I think taking care of the ball, we have to continue to do that.
What is your injury update at this point going into this week?
Well, Chris Kendricks has been doing really a nice job for us, and he fell to the floor, I guess, in warm-ups at Loyola and just had some unbelievable back spasms. So we don't know where he's at, but he's our 4th guy down. So obviously we've got Dorian Williams out, Austin Bruder, and Sean Roundtree, now Chris Kendricks. So, we'll have to get it figured out. Like I said, we're playing 3 guys in the backcourt that are all first-year guys. 2 of them are freshmen. 1 of them's a junior college kid. We're just very limited in those areas, so we got to be smart with what we're doing.
Thanks, Paul.
You bet.
Your next question comes from Paul Sullentrop with the Wichita Eagle.
Hey, Paul. Obadiah Church is having a really nice freshman year. Kind of give me a description of him and how he's progressed this season.
Yeah, he's doing great. I mean, really all of our freshmen. One of our freshmen, I think both he and, maybe I took him out of the game for a minute, but Dixon played 40 minutes the other day. Krecklow played 37, and I think Obi might have played 39. But Obi has just been very good for a young player. He's a very good athlete. He wants to be coached. He's continuing to develop. Very pleased with him.
And then, we talk every year about this time about junior college players, the difficulty of making the transition. It looks like Miller has come in and been an important part of the team from the start. How's he progressed?
He has. He is, I think that's the word. He is really still continuing to progress. I think he's by far not even being close to being a finished product, but he's made progress. Hasn't shot it at the rate that I think he's capable of, but when Dorian went out after that first Valley game, now it's all on Daquan, and he's doing a nice job. We weren't able to take him out of the game the other day, but he finds a way to make big plays when we need it. And I just really believe that he's going to continue to develop. Because as you said, there's no position that's harder to learn than that position. There's a transition for all of these guys. And he's making that transition. He comes to work every day. And I think he'll continue to get better.
Thank you.
Paul, that was your final question. Thank you for your time this morning. Good luck this week.
All right, thanks.
Thanks, Paul. We do have Coach Barry Hinson on the line with us. We're running a couple minutes behind schedule, so we're going to go ahead and get right to the questions for Coach Hinson. Good morning, Barry.
Morning, Mike.
Let's get to the questions for the coach.
Press star and the number 1 to ask your question. Star and the number 1. Your first question comes from Todd Hefferman with the Southern Newspaper.
Coach, after seeing them practice, how do you think you guys will regroup from Saturday and put that behind them?
Todd, we didn't practice yesterday. We took 3.5 hours and went through the film, and I personally broke down every possession offensively and defensively, and we just had an opportunity to try to do some teaching in the film room. So we'll practice this afternoon. I anticipate that we'll have a good workout.
You know, how much do you look at Rodriguez's, play to being a factor for your offensive efficiency? What has to get better about his play right now?
Well, I think Paul just alluded to it in a question to Paul about this is normally the time of year that junior college players really struggle, specifically the second half, the second go-round of conference play because guys figure them out. But Mike's issues right now are just adaptation to the level of play, the amount of games, the amount of practice, the amount of preparation, the amount of focus that you have to have. And I have full confidence in him. He'll not only do anything but just get better.
He seems to pass up a lot of shots in the first half and trying to get other people involved. Would you like to see him be a little bit more offensively aggressive early in the game?
I looked at the film under a good microscope yesterday, Todd. I don't know of very many shots that he turned down because there weren't a lot of shots to get because Wichita State was in our shorts the entire time. Our biggest deal was, we just got to get over this shell shock and try to find a way to get back to what we do. But, the first shot that he made was the only bucket we made up until I think the 12-minute mark, and that was fool's goal because I don't even know how it went in. He just kind of threw it up off the backboard. But certainly we know he can shoot the ball and he can score, but he is a point guard first, and that's why we've had so much success is because his ability to beat people off the dribble and find people. We just didn't do it the other day. Obviously we just had 2 assists.
And lastly, Illinois State, they seem to put it together a little bit more recently. What's changed for them in Valley play, you think?
Well, I think one, they're playing a lot of dribble drive, which is similar to what Calipari does. Dan's loaded up with some really high octane athletes, and they shoot the three a lot more than we do, and they do so much on penetration. And our big guys tomorrow are going to have to guard out on the floor, and consequently, we haven't guarded out on the floor all year long. So this will be a big challenge for us. And quite frankly, I think they're one of the hottest teams in the Valley right now. They've won 6 out of their last 8, I think.
What do you mean by guard out on the floor? You mean guard out on the perimeter?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thanks, Todd.
Your next question comes from Jim Benson with the Bloomington Pantograph.
Could you just talk about Anthony being able to move off the ball this year? How much that has really helped him?
Well, Jim, I think it's helped a lot because we have a true point guard in our offense now, and we can move him back to his natural position. And obviously, he's still the focal point, but it's given him a chance to move a little bit more freely, and it's also given him a chance to not have to bring the ball down the floor, try to guard the other team's best player. It's just freed him up a lot, and consequently, I think it's helped him.
And how surprised were you by your team's kind of reaction last Saturday? Were you kind of stunned by what happened?
I think the word embarrassed is probably more appropriate. I was stunned, shocked. I didn't see that coming. I didn't see that coming at all. And I think you got to give the credit to Wichita State. They didn't play great against Evansville. We'd out-rebounded them in the 3 previous games. Paul wrote a big article about how these guys had never faced the SIU crowds of the old days. And Greg, in the best fashion, and I have the utmost respect for Greg Marshall, rallied. He used all of this. And, the old saying is don't wake a sleeping lion. And, they were roaring from the moment they got in this facility, and they just embarrassed us. And we feel it. We felt it. We were frozen, and we'll see how we respond tomorrow night.
Thanks, Barry.
Coach, that was it for you. Thanks for your time. Good luck against Illinois State tomorrow night.
Thanks, Mike. Have a great day.
All right, you too. Thanks, Barry. Next coach in the queue will be Coach Marty Simmons of Evansville. We're trying to get a hold of Marty. We'll have him on momentarily. After Southern Illinois plays Illinois State at home tomorrow night, they will face Drake on the road on Sunday. The Salukis have the nation's best road record this year, 6-0 overall. Only 2 other teams have won as many as 4 games on the road without a loss. That includes James Madison and Northwestern, and a total of 15 teams are unbeaten in the road this year. Still working to get Marty Simmons on the line with us, but we're going to flip-flop the order, Stephanie, if we could. I do see Porter Moser of Loyola on the line with us. We'll go ahead and take Porter now and then flip back to Marty in just a second. And at this time, we'd like to welcome Coach Moser. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning, Mike.
Bradley on Wednesday and then later in the week at Northern Iowa. If you could preview the Bradley contest for us, and then we'll open it up for some questions for you from the media.
Yeah, watching Bradley, they're similar to us. They're struggling making shots. But the thing about Bradley is obviously I've never seen a team with this many freshmen, but they got tremendous upside. I've seen tremendous flashes from all their young guys, and like us, they just can't consistently put it together for 40 minutes. But they got some really good pieces that have played well in spurts, and they're getting more confident. They've struggled shooting the ball like we have.
Thanks, Coach. Let's get now to the questions. For your questions for Coach Porter Moser of Loyola.
Your first question comes from the line of Jack McCarthy with the Chicago Tribune.
Hey, Porter. How you doing?
I'm great, Jack. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Happy New Year.
You too.
Porter, you alluded to Bradley's youth and some of the challenges they've had. Have you ever witnessed a team quite in their situation with so many kids literally just out of high school?
No. I'd like to say I've been in Division I 25 years, and I'll answer no. You start listing their top 9-10 guys, and it literally is all freshmen, and then you got Thomas is a sophomore with now that Cadero Bell's out. So you got 8 or 9 freshmen in Thomas. You got to give so much credit to their staff and those kids because they're playing hard, they're playing spirited. And that's what I've coached against Brian. Brian always has his teams like that, but I've never seen that many freshmen in the top 9.
You're able to scout a little bit based on tape, but you've never seen these guys in person. When you prepare, are you preparing more for what you think and Brian might do rather than personnel, or how do you approach this?
I approach it like any other game. I mean, it's not like it's the first game. They've had a number of games under their belt. We see what they're doing, and then we do the personnel. We look at the personnel. We talk about both. I think most teams look at that this late in the season. So, there's the personnel is. I really believe that they got some really good players of the future there, and it scares me because I think the more you get into it, the more confidence they get. And, for instance, the kid Suggs, he just looks like his confidence is going through the roof right now. And but we prepare for both, what they're doing, scheme-wise and personnel.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Brian.
All right, Jack.
I'm sorry.
No problem, Jack.
Okay.
Your next question comes from Dave Reynolds with the Peoria Journal.
Hi, Porter.
Hey, Dave.
As far as your team goes, a couple of back-to-back 2-point losses. Now you're sitting 0-4 in the league. I'm sure you had higher expectations for your start. How are you and the team handling this at this point?
You know, you're exactly right. We did have high expectations, and I don't know if that was part of it. There hasn't been expectations on us in a while, and I don't know if that's a part of it. How we're handling it, there's only one choice. We've talked to our guys. There's only one choice to choose from. We can choose how we act. We can choose how we think, how we stay together, how we work, or we can feel sorry for ourselves. And you know, we've got to continue to grind. We're not shooting the ball well, and you know, to say well is even an understatement. It's our shooting percentages are just disturbing down the stretch, and especially in back-to-back 2-point losses. So we've got to get some confidence that way. We've got, you know, the harder you work, the luckier you get. We just got to find some breaks by making them with some extra effort plays, create a basket, you know, here or there. And I thought they did it. I thought they created a basket. You know, we pressed and we got a steal, and then, you know, the kid made back-to-back, you know, winning shots for Missouri State against Northern Iowa and us. So you got to give them credit for making those shots. But for us, it's got to start with our veterans. You know, we've got to, you know, continue to grind forward. I mean, there's nothing we can do about those 4 games. They're over. Not the way we wanted, but it's over, and we got to be focusing on what we control. And what we control is our attitude, our effort, our togetherness every day in practice.
Obviously, not having Christian this year, does that, how much has that affected your team?
It's been tremendous. You know, I worried about it, and Joe Christman was the other one. They were our alpha dogs. They were our, you know, day in and day out, just grinded out in practice. Coming out of timeouts, you saw those guys grab the rest of the team, and they were just, you know, alpha dogs. Christian, the thing about Christian is you always knew what you were going to get. You were going to get an absolute workman-like effort every night. And we just simply haven't had the consistency in our post-game this year with that, night in and night out. There's certain nights we look, you know, really good in the post, and there's certain nights we don't. And it's the same way with some of our guards. We're searching for consistency. We're searching for an alpha dog to make sure, you know, that happens. And that's something that, you know, you can't put a price tag on leadership and toughness.
Thanks, Porter. See you Wednesday.
All right, Dave. We'll see you.
Porter, that's it for you. Thanks for your time this morning. Good luck this week.
Thanks, Mike.
All right. Bye-bye. We were able to connect with Coach Marty Simmons of Evansville. The Aces opening up this week with a game tomorrow night at home against Drake. Later in the week, playing on ESPN2 at Illinois State on a Friday night at 8 o'clock, ESPN2 for the Aces and Redbirds. This time we'd like to welcome Coach Marty Simmons. Hi, Marty.
Hey, Mike. Sorry about that.
Oh, that's okay.
Appreciate it.
Okay. Let's talk about Drake tomorrow night and just focus on that game first, and then we'll open it up for some questions for you. Preview the Bulldogs, if you could.
Well, I think more than anything, you know, they've obviously played a terrific schedule and raised someone that I know personally have got tremendous respect for. Don't like playing them one bit. I mean, they've got really good players that can spread the floor. They really shoot it well. They're a very, very cerebral team, very smart team. They've got great size in the post, but a very, very challenging team to play against.
Thank you, Coach. Let's now get to the questions for you. Questions for Coach Marty Simmons.
At this time, please press star and the number 1 to ask a question. Our first question comes from the line of Jim Benson with Bloomington Pantographs.
Can you just talk a little bit about Agidius and what has really kind of allowed him just to kind of elevate his play this season, even over last season?
I just think more than anything, Jim, just experience, maturity, confidence. I mean, just he's kind of been that way, you know, every year that he's been here. You know, he's gotten better. I think, you know, the opportunity to go back and play in the Pan Am games, you know, was probably a good experience as well. his effort has just been outstanding.
Thanks.
Marty, all that trouble to get you on, and that was the only question for you, but I do...
Hey, no problem. Thanks again. I apologize, Mike.
That's okay. Good luck tomorrow night against the Bulldogs.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye. We'll be joined momentarily by Coach Brian Wardle of Bradley. The Braves open up this week with a game at Loyola on Wednesday, and then back at home Saturday against Missouri State. Still working to get Coach Wardle on the line with us. And just a follow-up note on the Bradley freshman contributions, they have scored 79% of the team's total points this year and 73% of the team's rebounds. The next highest percentage in the league is by Missouri State, with 27% of the points coming from freshman players. And the Bears are also second in rebounding totals at 28% coming from their freshman players.
Yes, this is the operator calling to join Coach Muller to his conference call. I'm sorry, this is the conference center operator calling to join Coach Muller to his conference call.
Stephanie, this is Mike. You're on our line.
I'm sorry, I'm dialing out to him now.
And we'll continue to try to get Coach Wardle on the line, but we do have Coach Dan Muller of Illinois State with us. Illinois State opening up the week with a game at Southern Illinois tomorrow night, Redbirds, and back at home Friday to play Evansville on ESPN2, the Friday night game at 8 o'clock. Morning, Coach.
Morning, Mike. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Good. Let's talk about the Salukis and preview the game for us, if you will, for tomorrow night.
Yeah. They're good. Barry's obviously done an unbelievable job at getting this team to, number one, play really hard. And number two, each guy kind of buying into their own strengths and their role. It's certainly not a one-man show, although we know how good Anthony Bean is, but he's got a lot of help around him. And they obviously didn't play their best in the last game, but it's going to be a heck of a challenge for us.
Thank you, Coach. Let's now get to the questions for you. Questions for Coach Dan Muller.
Please put star in the number 1 on your telephone keypad. And our first question comes from Jim Benson with the Bloomington Pantograph.
And could you talk about the challenges of guarding Bean when he's not on the point with and handling the ball so much? How different is that?
Well, I don't know how different it is, to be honest. I think it helps him as far as his energy level and what he needs to do. But I think what helps him the most is no matter where he is, with the ball, without the ball, that the guys around him are better. And some of those guys are the guys from last year who have improved quite a bit, and some of them are new guys. So whether he's bringing the ball up, has the ball, doesn't have the ball, eventually the problem is when he gets the ball. And he's so efficient this year. His percentages are, the best of his career, and so he's hard. He's hard to guard, boy. He's scoring every different way possible.
Right. Obviously, a lot of the talk this year has been the rules changes and the physicality. And the other day against Indiana State, you had alluded after the game, Quentin falling out there with about 6 minutes left was really kind of a key moment in the game. Do you think your guys have kind of adjusted to that, or well this year, or is it kind of sometimes a game-by-game proposition?
Well, we had done a great job of not fouling. Our last, they had, I think, 33 free throws in our last game, and that we were holding teams to under 15 free throws most of the time. Mm-hmm. I think we've adjusted quite well. I did think Q got a couple really tough calls against them the other night with trying to play the way you're supposed to play, but Indiana State gets the foul line a lot, and we didn't do a good enough job of keeping them off it.
Thanks.
Thanks, Jim.
Your next question is from Daniel Allard with the Evansville Courier.
Wondering what you've been getting out of your post guys this year. I know you have a lot of the perimeter guys back, but who's playing most of the minutes for you in the post, and what are those guys giving you?
Yeah, we have, untraditional post players in general. Deontay Hawkins and Nick Banyard have played a lot of the minutes at the, quote, 4 and 5. They both shoot the ball extremely well from the perimeter. They post up some, but not a ton. And then Quentin Brewer, our graduate transfer, has really been playing well lately. He gives us our best physical presence inside. Doesn't block a ton of shots, but a great rim protector with positioning and taking charges. Been our best rebounder lately and can score inside. So not a really traditional banger down there with great size. They're all about 6'8", but we rotate them in and out, and they give us good minutes each night.
Does that, you alluded to them shooting threes, does that free up some more space for the other guys to drive? Are you able to spread it out a little bit more than you have in the past?
Yeah, it has, and the other thing we've been able to do is we've been able to post our wings quite a bit. Two of our best post players are Devon Akun Purcell and Mikhail McIntosh, and they play most of the minutes at the wing. So that allows us to do some things with penetration and also posting different guys up.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Your next question comes from Todd Hefferman with the Southern Newspaper.
Hey, Coach, Paris has kind of entered the starting lineup a little bit, played a little bit better since his return. How has he kind of played with Devon lately?
Yeah, hey, Todd. Paris is starting to play like we expected, thought, and needed lately. He went through a rough stretch, didn't play much, didn't start a few games, and our last 3 games has played really well. He's actually scoring the ball pretty well, but he's scoring it because he's making the right plays as opposed to earlier in the year when he was trying to do too much. I think his defense has been the best of the year lately. He's taking care of the ball. So Paris is huge for our team, and he's certainly playing probably his best basketball of the year.
What is, when you look at SIU, is that the thing that's kind of changed the most? The returning players have gotten better, Dan?
That's tough to say because, with Rodriguez and, I apologize, number 5, I know numbers better than I know names sometimes.
Vincent.
Vincent. Those 2 guys give them so much of everything. They can score it. They're dynamic. They shoot it, they drive it, they guard. I mean, they play within themselves. But you look at Sean O'Brien, and he may be the most improved player in the league, or one of them. Bola and Smith-Peters. So it'd be hard for me to say one is more important than the other.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks, Tom.
Your next question comes from Jim Benson with the Bloomington Pantograph.
Hey, Dan, I forgot to ask you about Roland's availability for tomorrow, and if he can't play again, how much is that affecting the team, do you think?
Yeah, well, he's still somewhat day-to-day, Jim. I'm hopeful. But, that toe's been hurting him. It's hard to say how much. Probably a lot, but, every team has injuries. Our last 2 games, we've had foul trouble, and we've also had a guy in-game kind of tweak something that's affected us, our numbers. But Rowe's size, his ability to score the ball, guard, rebound at the perimeter, we certainly missed it.
Thanks.
Yep.
Coach, that was your final question for you. Thank you for your time this morning.
Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
Good luck this week.
Thanks.
We do have Coach Brian Wardle of Bradley with us. Bradley opening up this week with a game at Loyola on Wednesday, and then return home for a game on Saturday against Missouri State. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Let's talk about your first game of the week, game at Loyola. Let's talk about the Ramblers, preview the game Wednesday for us, and then we'll open it up for some questions for you.
Well, I think you obviously got a couple of teams that are trying to find consistency, and especially us, just get some confidence and see the ball go through the net a little bit more, just to help us out play a little bit sharper on both ends. So it's a big game for both teams, a game that we're obviously going to have to play well and play much, much better in the first half than we have been doing Valley play so far. But, we've played 4 very good teams in the Valley. We're trying to not let that hold us down or hurt our confidence, and we're just trying to be more consistent in practice today and tomorrow, and then hopefully come out and play a good Loyola team. But they're a team that returns a lot of players from last year's team that won games, and I think Milton Doyle is a matchup problem and a very good playmaker and guard, and we got our hands full.
Thank you, Coach. Let's now get to the questions for you from the media. Questions for Coach Brian Wardle.
If you'd like to ask a question, please press star, then the number 1 on your telephone keypad. Again, that's star, then the number 1 to ask your question. Our first question comes from Jack McCarthy with the Chicago Tribune.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
Good, Jack. How are you, man?
I'm good, thank you. Hey, I wanted to check the status of Kadero Bell. Will he be available Wednesday? And if not, what's his time frame for returning?
He will not be. Our one senior on the team is KD, and he's a tremendous young man and just a really good person that we love having around. But just obviously basketball, he's going to be out 3 to 4 weeks.
Okay.
We may get him back at the end of February if all things heal well in his fractured bone in his wrist, unfortunately.
Okay. That's a right wrist?
Yes, shooting hand too. Yep.
Shooting hand. Okay. Thanks.
No problem.
Again, star then the number 1 to ask a question.
Brian, looks like that was the only one in the queue for you this morning. Thanks for your time. Good luck this week.
Thanks.
All right, appreciate it. You're reaching out to Coach Greg Marshall of Wichita State. The Shockers this week will play at Missouri State on Wednesday and then back at home on Sunday to play Indiana State. We will remind the beat writers that are on today's call to stay on the line after Coach Marshall's comments and Q&A session. We'll have a brief roundtable of our beat writers following Coach Marshall's session. And we do have Coach Marshall on the line now. Again, Wichita State opening up the week with a game at Missouri State on Wednesday. And at this time, we welcome Coach to the line. Good morning, Greg.
Hey, Mike. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Really good, thanks.
Yeah, very big week for you last week, and Missouri State also had a big week, winning 2 close ones for the Bears did. And talk about Missouri State, and then we'll open it up for some questions for you.
Well, I haven't looked at a whole lot of Missouri State yet. We just broke down Evansville and Southern Illinois yesterday, and we just get into Missouri State today. Obviously, Paul has them winning close games and playing better. And they're always tough to play there. I know that I did watch them play against Evansville because we played Evansville already, so I watched that game at Missouri State. They played well for a half, and then Evansville kind of ran away with it. So that's the Missouri State that I know. There's a lot of new faces, and they've got the young man who's dunking everything around the basket, and some other, the JUCO kid, the guard that hit the winner yesterday or Saturday, and then young man Kreklow coming off the bench. So they've got some new faces, and we'll have to familiarize ourselves with them.
Thank you, Greg. Let's get now to the questions for you. Questions for Coach Greg Marshall of Wichita State.
Press star and the number 1. Question, star and the number 1. Again, that's star and the number 1. Our first question is from Harry Schroeder with the Valley Hoops Insider.
Hey, good morning, Greg. I know you value, guys that have stuck around a long time, both in your program and the others. Can you talk a little bit, I know later in the week you're playing Indiana State, talk a little bit about Christian Smith and Devontae Brown, just what they've been to play against the last 3.5 years?
Those guys are tough. They do what Coach Lansing wants them to do, and that's defend. Devontae Brown is an elite defender, and they've given them some athleticism on the wing and at the guard position. They can score it. They're not great shooters, but they find a way to score. And they've been a part of some really good teams, and they've won against us. They've won in Coke Arena. So, they're not. There's somebody that has to be respected, and you have to play well against them to beat them.
And then, Greg, could you just talk about the development of McDuffie? He has been like a real spark plug for you guys. I know you expected a lot from him. Just how has he developed this year?
He's done great. He was 17 when he got here. He didn't turn 18 until September. He was long and athletically gifted and talented, but he was a little immature on the court. He just didn't listen. He didn't. It wasn't a disrespectful thing. He was just like a kid. I had to tell him, this is not recess. This is important. This is what a lot of us are really trying to win. And so since then, and I had to tell him that multiple times. And I actually thought about redshirting him, and he didn't want a red shirt, but I broached the subject with them, and they shot that idea down. And basically, his parents said, "Look, whatever you tell him to do, he's going to do, and he's going to get better. He's going to help whatever team he's on, and he just keeps doing what is necessary for him to be a successful component of an organization." And those words were prophetic, because he has. He just keeps getting better. He keeps listening better. He keeps understanding the importance of scouting reports and whatnot. Now, he played real early because he had to with all the injuries that we had, and he helped us lose a couple games. I mean, he wasn't the sole reason that we lost, but he made some big time breakdowns defensively that cost us a couple games, along with some other guys in Florida. But now he's guarding DJ Valentine. He's guarding Anthony Bean. Those are two of the best scorers we have in our conference. And I never thought that was going to happen a month ago. But he's able to guard them, use his length, try to keep them in front and contest their shots and chase them around screens. And then he's talented enough offensively to score in a multitude of ways. He can shoot the three. He can get to the rim and finish. But he's rebounding now. He's going and getting some offensive rebounds and sticking them back. And he could have had a monster night against Evansville if he hadn't missed a couple of bunnies. But he's really coming along, and it's good to see. We knew that he and Landry Shamet both were very talented, so at least we're getting to see what Marcus McDuffie's capable of right now.
Thanks a lot, Greg. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thanks.
Your next question comes from Paul Silvertrop with the Wichita Eagle.
Hey, Greg. Ron had the stitches after the game Saturday. Is that any kind of issue going forward for him?
I didn't see Ron yesterday. I don't think so. That they didn't indicate that would be an issue. But he's a tough kid, and he's as tough as they come. So I doubt it will be. But you know, I hope that the answer is no. I haven't even thought about it really.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Our next question comes from Jim Connell with the Springfield News Leader.
Greg, you guys are obviously the game that people look at and target on your backs every night out. Was there a process to get used to that, and are you guys embracing that role?
Well, this is not new, Jim. So if there was a process, it was about 5 years ago when it started. So I don't recall. We don't do anything different. We know that you have to play well on the road. We prepare the same as we do for a home game. But we practice pretty hard 2 days before, lighten up the day before, and then go play the game. So if there was a process, it was 5 years ago when it started. Or actually, I've been doing this for 18 years, so my teams have always been pretty good on the road. But this group in the last 5 years has been even better. So I don't think it's anything that we do that's special. It's just the type of kids and the way we run our organization, and they play with a toughness, and they're also, obviously very talented. You have to have that.
All right, thanks.
You're welcome.
Greg, that was your final question. Thanks for your time, and good luck at Missouri State Wednesday night.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thanks, Greg. This does wrap up our call. Again, we'll ask the beat writers to please stay on the line, and we'll have a roundtable of our beat writers in just a moment.